Hey everybody, Pastor Vern with your daily update for August 18th. It's a Tuesday as we continue on in our changed lives for the moment and hopefully getting back to something that is a little more familiar as we go along. We continue talking about the books of the Bible, 66 books bound into one volume of epic proportions. We have, if you think about the Bible and almost everything in popular movies, literature, whatever, has some basis in the stories in the Bible. The Bible is so comprehensive. A lot of those stories are taken and restructured and refitted to different times and eras, and basically it's that same story told again. The story of triumph and defeat and rebuilding and coming up from the ashes and all those things that have happened to God's people over the centuries. Well, today we look at a book that's sometimes kind of difficult to read. It's broken into four poems. It is the book of Lamentations. It's a funeral dirge for the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem has been under siege 3 times and it's fallen now. And Jeremiah, who wrote this book, is in mourning, I guess you would say, struggling with how his beloved Jerusalem has fallen. And he kind of breaks it down into these different aspects. And he puts a lot of this into into a personification type form, relating the fall of Jerusalem to what human beings go through in our lives and our times together. The first poem is the city is represented by a weeping widow that is mourning in solitude. One of the things about when Jerusalem had fell after the 3 sieges is a lot of the people, the leadership of the people of Jerusalem, that the leadership of the Hebrew people were taken away and dispersed into other areas so that they could not reform a challenge to the captors. And so the weeping willow in solitude is talks about the separation. Someone who had such a great connection to this city and then have had it taken away from them by it being captured by others and the temple being desecrated and all the things that had happened at that point. The second poem is cities represented by a veiled woman now in mourning amidst the ruins. If you want to picture that, picture a city that is in ruins, been torn down by captors or destroyed by war. In our modern era or more modern era, we remember seeing the pictures of Europe after World War II. Many very vital and fascinating cities were bombed almost to extinction, where the very structure of the city was destroyed, the culture was devastated. And if you can kind of put that image in your head and then relate it to what you would have seen in Jerusalem at that time, that's the second part of someone who has lost everything dear to them as traveling through and mourning amidst the ruins. The next one is more of the weeping prophet. The weeping prophet who goes before the judge, Jehovah, goes before God and says, I tried to tell him the judgment's harsh. Can we find some relief in the judgment? The fourth is a city represented as gold, dimmed, changed, and degraded. That's an interesting concept, because we always think of gold as bright and shiny and something of value. But, as I understand it, there are certain kinds of gold that can degrade or get tarnished or and we've seen old rings and old necklaces and so on that are made of gold that need to be cleaned up and spruced up and shined up. And so you can get a little bit of that. And then the last chapter is the city is represented by the pleadings to the Lord of renewal. Um, so I think one thing that we got to think about, this is a common theme through history. We go through this from time to time as the sins of the world tend to build, and then there's some type of a violent eruption of some sort, and then we seem to become to a point where we're brought back to our senses, return back to God, and we can rebuild again. Why we are destined to repeat this pattern, I don't know, but I guess it's a little bit of the human condition. The memories are short. We're seeing that in our country now. People are, I think, are struggling as the greatest generation, the generation, World War II generation that sacrificed so much for this country and did it willingly, as is fading from memory. And we do not have a current generations. The younger generations right now have not struggled for much. They've seen a lot of prosperity. They have not seen a lot of things that have been devastating, and not anything to the level of World War II. And if history is destined to repeat itself, we may be headed in that direction. But take heart, for we are people of faith, and people of faith have always come through the struggles, the difficult struggles of this world, and have had a chance to rebuild it into a faithful community again. All right. Well, everybody take care. Um, do the best you can to watch out for others and stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye.